No, I can't play that. I can't play that anymore because YouTube screwed me. I had to make my first capitulation to YouTube. Oh, shit. I have to stop all my output. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Everything is screwed up here. I have to come fix all my stuff. Ugh. All right, guys. Welcome. Um Second week in a row where everything absolutely died as soon as I hit go live. I did a test early this morning. Everything was fine. Everything worked. That was wonderful. I
So you
come in.
say,
Yeah. I mean, it's and then as soon as I hit the go live. Good morning, guys. Hey, Bob K6UDA, and we're getting ready to do the net with the radio. So that'll be coming up here in about 5 minutes. Um, Today we're talking about a thing called the technocracy, and I call it GOV-AI. Because AI is going to be the driving force behind all this digital ID, digital money, the social credit system, and it already is. Um, I mean, I got stung on YouTube because I just started putting this net on YouTube, and the cool music that I had for our little countdown, I had to axe it because somebody said, "Oh no, we're making a copyright strike against that." And I'm like, "You got to be kidding me." It's such a small part of the show that I just don't really care. Oh man. Let's see. Got you logged. Uh is the chat live? Is everything live, Jeff?
um, there's nobody here. So I'm
Nobody
not
here.
seeing anybody in there.
Okay. Okay. I got Russell in there on YouTube saying good morning. Hand pink waving.
There we go. Shannon made
Okay.
it into Rumble.
Yeah. So we're making it in. We're starting it up here. Uh my brother Jeff is back from all his driving and all his stuff.
And I am frozen.
You are
That's on me,
frozen.
actually.
Yeah, you do look like you're frozen on my screen there.
I will hang up and be right
Great.
back.
Of course. Why not?
I'll be
Let's
right
see.
back.
Okay. Uh so we'll go back to this one for the moment. 5 of us in here. I'm sorry guys. Just another one of those days. Let me go to here. Looks like, yeah, it looks like we're in here live. Um, Look at that. Terry's here. Terry's in. Terry, we were talking about this technocracy and beforehand, and it was there was that one part where is this part of the beast system? And we were talking about that, and it was very interesting. Um, and I don't know if I'm right, but can the little computer chip be the mark of the beast? We don't know. But according to the Bible, it says kind of no. Um, let's see. I need to go back over here. Uh, so I don't know, but hey, if you want to jump in, once we get going with this, for just even a few minutes, if you've got it, if you got the time, Terry, and you want to jump in and you want to enlighten all of us. But we are talking about how to get around all this, the social, what is it? Social credit scores, um, the digital money that for right now we're kind of good because uh, at least President Trump did an executive order, no digital money right now. Oh, we're a minute away. So I'm going to move to screen number 2 and and there we go.
Hello.
Jeff is hello. Jump out, jump back in to get the live version. Yeah. Um if you're listening on the radio or if you're well, yeah, I haven't been listening. Okay, it is time for me to start the net. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump on the radio. Do this. All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Southern Idaho Preparedness Net. I'm Bob, K6UDA, your net control host this morning. This net meets every Saturday morning, 0900 hours Mountain Time on the K6UDA repeater, located deep within the Southern Idaho Command, Twin Falls, Idaho. This is a digital radio net accessible via Wires X Room 40448 and YSF Reflector 40448, both the Idaho Command. Also available on the Hanson Butte 2-meter fusion repeater 145170, and local hams with analog radios can participate using the KB7 DFP repeater on 442.000. I'm going to let it drop. The purpose of this net is the free exchange of information related to emergency preparedness, commonly known as prepping. We encourage deep dives into subjects related to food, water, shelter, personal protection, weapons, survival tactics, medical issues, communication gear, and techniques. I'm looking for subject matter experts to lead discussions on all these various subjects. If you have material you'd like to present or discuss when you check in, please indicate that you have a subject. Although not primarily political, discussion of relevant political, cultural, or religious events are welcome in the context of situational awareness and survival. As part of my personal preparedness plan, practicing for the gathering and dissemination of important news and information to my friends, family, and the local community is what this net is all about. So, as training for right now, we do what I call the sit rep section or situation reports every week. While times are good, I use general news stories that I find interesting. I ask everyone here to contribute their own stories or sit reps, especially if they are in or near an affected area of an actual emergency. I'll let it drop. All right, in order to give everyone an opportunity to be heard, I'm going to do check ins and comments in the following order. We'll do local repeater check ins. That's local repeaters and anybody connected via Echolink, All Star, to one of the repeaters in the area. Then we'll do Wires X check-ins, YSF check-ins, and then finally we'll get to a few live stream comments before we break from the radio and get to the meteor section of this net, which will be live stream. You're encouraged to check in with your first name, call sign, location, and how you're getting onto the net, uh, i.e., the local repeater Wires X YSF. That being said, do we have any local repeater check-ins?
This is Kilo Bravo 7 Delta Foxtrot Papa KV7 DSP Kennan Twin Falls. No traffic.
All right, good morning, Ken, KB7DFP, and welcome to the net. Thanks for being part of the net. And thank you for the use of your repeater and your system to get this out to the world. Looking for check-ins for the Southern Idaho Preparedness Net. Looking for local repeater right now. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and open it up to Wires X. Wires X check-ins come now. It's like we lost the whole world.
W6CJ, Wires X node covering Port Vanilla and Pasadena.
All right, good morning, Jay. And do you have any sit reps for us?
For my other sit rep.
Fantastic. I will call on you during our sit rep section. Looking for check-ins for the Southern Idaho Preparedness Net. This is Bob K6UDA. We're doing Wires X check-ins right now.
November 7 Victor Kilo Hotel. John.
All right. Good morning, John. And 7VKH, local guy here from Kimberly. And John, do you have any traffic for the net?
This is. It's kind of in and out this morning. Got things to do, as you know. Beautiful weather, so we better get them done before the snow flies.
Yeah, definitely, my friend. Okay. Well, hey, thanks for joining the net, and maybe you can just put it on listen for a while. I saw KV4 Sierra in there. Go ahead and take a churn.
Hey, good morning, Bob and Annette. This is Russell, Kilo Victor for Sierra, Chelsea, Alabama. No traffic, all green on sit reps. And we're coming in on Wires X.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thanks for checking in, being part of the net. Looking for check-ins for the Southern Idaho Preparedness Net. We'll open it up to YSF and basically anybody, anywhere.
RP&P, Medford, Oregon, no traffic.
All right, Bob, got you in there. Copied no traffic, and I see KD8IOK. I'm going to turn the mic over to him. KD8IOK, I saw you in there. Go ahead and check in on the radio. Yeah, Jeff, do you want to check in on the radio, or I saw your call sign come up.
This is case D8IOK. I'm not. There I am. I couldn't hear myself earlier. My apologies. Coming into you from sunny Lake Wales, Florida, and happy to be back on Wires At.
All right, there it is. There it is. Hey guys, we're working out through all these technical difficulties. Um, so hey, stick with me if you can, if you could stand it. Looking for check-ins for the Southern Idaho Preparedness Net. Come now.
And the 7 RP&T, Medford, Oregon. No traffic.
All right, Bob, got you in there in Medford. Thanks for checking into the net. Check-ins for the Southern Idaho Preparedness Net. Come now.
Kilo Echo 8, Whiskey Sierra Hotel, KDA WSH, Bill in Portland, Michigan, no traffic.
All right, good morning, Bill. Thanks for checking in, and good to see you here. We'll just keep going. Check-ins. Come now.
Louis, no traffic. This is 86 UP, Great Net.
All right, 86 UP. That's a new. I think that's a new call for me over here. Your name and where are you from?
Okay, Bob, the 86 UP. I'm going to check in. My name is Louis here. I'm in LA and it's raining. Back to net.
All right, Louis. Thanks. Thanks for checking in. Welcome to the net. Looking for check-ins. Southern Idaho Preparedness Net. Come now. Okay. Let's see. We got a couple. I saw one or two coming across the board here, especially actually on the YouTube side. We are live streaming all this onto Rumble, X, and YouTube. I see KO4 ESA. Uh, Pamela is back. Beautiful. That is awesome. Anybody else want to check in, and then we'll get into the sit rep section. Okay, with that, we'll get into our sit rep section, and then we'll get back to any last minute check-ins from anybody that wants to check in. Then we will break from the radio, and we'll get into the meat of our topic today. Things that I have. Number one, Congress had just sent a letter to Attorney General Bondi instructing her to instruct the DOJ not to resist current and ongoing court battles to repeal the NFA. Their intent when making the tax stamp for suppressors, short-barreled rifles, and shotguns was to repeal the entire law, and now they are moving to repeal the rest of the NFA. Second up, a Connecticut ban on AR-15s and as what they call assault weapons is on its way to the Supreme Court. Connecticut labels any semi-auto firearm with what the state considers offensive uh, features, and that is a direct violation of case law, Bruin, um, and a few other Supreme Court decisions, Heller, just to name a few. Um, let's see, Idaho lawmakers are hearing details from the Mountain Home Air Force Base commander on a Qatar partnership. This has sparked a lot of controversy here in Idaho, as well as other places. I know, I know in the past, other countries um, have sent a lot of troops from other countries to Air Force bases here in the U.S. to train. But this one, I don't agree with it. But we'll see what happens when the Idaho lawmakers get involved here. All right. The FAA is slowly restoring flights after the government shut down. And you know what I'm going to do? Hang on. Stand by for just a second. I'm going to pull that up. I'm going to push this one up here. All right. I just put up a new screen on the live stream here, guys, and I'm showing one of the resources that I use to bring my sit reps to you guys. And this is a thing that I subscribe to called Ground News. I really like it because it kind of gives you um, is the source from the left, the right, is it center, and I try to bring you guys the center stuff. So here in Shoshone, or here in Idaho, in Shoshone County, uh, the uh, th- the sheriff had retired, or not retired. She resigned last month pretty abruptly. There was some issues, and she decided to resign. Uh, the county now is considering. I think they've got the list down to about 3 or 4 that they are considering to come in and assume the role of sheriff in Shoshone County. Like I said, the FAA was taking its first steps to restore flights after the shutdown. There is some limitations. They're back at about 3%, 3% down from normal capacity. And they're trying to get that done before Thanksgiving travel week, which is, I think it's this week or next week. And then finally, yeah, there was the Idaho lawmakers are hearing the Mountain Home Air Force Base commanders' details on the Qatar partnership. And those are the stories that I have. Let's see. Does anybody else have any sit reps for us? W6CJ, did you have any sit reps? Am I even going out?
Yes.
Good morning, Ned, W6CJJ in Northeast Los Angeles. Yeah, some discussion of COVID My wife and I had some personal experience. We were out of it for about 3 weeks. Let me discuss the current strains and a few other things. Okay, yeah, the current strains of COVID in Southern California and LA are, the common names are called Stratus, and the other one is called Nimbus. Stratus makes up about 85% of cases. Symptoms are flu-like, really: fever, cough, runny nose, chills, congestion. Uh, the other one, Nimbus, is just 7% of cases, and it has a severe sore throat, also fever, muscle aches, congestion. Right. Uh, Both are highly transmissible, and they're not as devastating as the earlier versions of several years ago. My personal experience, my wife and I both had it. She got hers about 3 days later than mine, so I think I was the one who brought it home. There were a couple days where we didn't want to drive or do anything strenuous, so we're all better now. Uh, but in general, once again, flu-like symptoms, but it lasts longer and may hit a little harder. Break. In urban areas, densely populated areas, blue cities, sanctuary cities, I think it's worse of a problem because we have issues with homeless people and other individuals that do not practice social distancing, don't understand personal space, have very little hygiene. So that's an issue to contend with here. Right. Also, our conditions in urban areas are more crowded, more there's public transit, uh, crowded restaurants, etc. So the holidays are coming up. Be careful. I'd stock up on whatever you want to prep for COVID. There's a lot of advice out there. And that's all I have. Back to you, Bob.
All right, Jay, thanks for that. Thanks for always being a big part of this net. Do we have any other sit reps from anybody out there? Anything going on in your neck of the woods? All right. Do we have any last minute check-ins? All right, then. With that, we're gonna end the radio portion of the net. We're gonna continue on our live streams on Rumble, on YouTube, and on X. So you can get on any one of those platforms and be part of the conversation over here. We are talking about a thing called the technocracy today, and how to avoid it, how to work around it when it gets fully installed. It's here. It's already here. Uh, don't kid yourself. Anyway, I want to thank all of the participating nodes for being part of this and taking your time out of your day. And let me get Terry in there. Um, and then thank you everybody for tuning in. If you're just tuning in here on YSF or any one of the other modes there. Remember, you can always hang out here on the Southern Idaho Command on YSF or Wires X. And if anybody wants to start their own nets or wants to have conversations, this place is, I think, a great place to do it. And you're not limited. Nobody's going to tell you, "Ooh, you can't talk about that on ham radio," because you can. As long as it's legal, you could talk about it here. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you all again. And please tune in to one of the live streams and we'll talk to you next week. I'm Bob, K6UDA, and 73. And I'm returning all of the nodes and stations back to their normal operating usage. All right. Okay. Let's jump in here since Terry is here. There we are. Hey, all of us in there. Terry, good morning.
Good morning.
So we're here today talking about the technocracy. Let's see. Good map. Let me bring over one of my deals over here so I could see what's going on. And let's see. Who do we have in there? Home Depot 2. Flock cameras. What are flock cameras?
Spy cameras.
Oh,
And CAWASMER, and I don't know if that's supposed to be Coasmer or if it's just letters for something. Posted
my
a
comment
website
disappeared.
Yeah,
Deflock
posted a
me will
website on
show
there.
all flock cameras in the U.S. Holy crap! I'll put that over into the real chat here. Hang on. Mute, pin, delete. No, I don't want to do any of those. I want to highlight this. Bring this one over here. I'm going to put that into the real chat. And then I'm going to add it into the broadcast. This is what I wish Rumble would let me do, is get into the more advanced functions of Ecamm, which is the software system that I'm using to bring you guys all of this goodness. Anyway, my guests today, you're both kind of like the co-hosts of the show. So anyway, we're talking about this thing called the technocracy. The flock cameras are a big part of it. What is the technocracy? It is the definition of it is a system of governance where unelected technical experts make decisions, replacing democratic oversight with data-driven control. It's emerging rapidly through digital IDs, AI surveillance, carbon credits, and CBDCs, which are central banking digital currencies. Your bitcoins and all that good stuff. So, my granddaughter's here from California, so it's a little noisier around here. If you guys are hearing that. So who's behind all this technocracy stuff? Jeff, you kind of work in business. You're in business in the work world. And you kind of sometimes I mean you see retail. I mean, is this a pervasive thing in retail?
Um,
This the
could
surveillance
be.
part.
It could be. Everything you do in retail could be used against you. Anytime you swipe a card, it can be used against you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what really I knew it, from for years ago when and it was under the Biden administration where credit card companies and banks were starting to say, "Oh, we're not going to allow you to buy from this store or that store." Um, they didn't want you to buy from a gun store. So
Right.
if you went to ABC Guns, your credit card wouldn't work. How about that? Um, YouTube is a great example. Social media is a huge example of the whole technocracy, and that is the surveillance and the AI surveillance, and it's affected this show in a very small way, but it right up front. mm, when we start the show, I start a 2-minute countdown, and it's just a 2-minute countdown. It's just to get me get everything rolling, to make sure that everything is working right. And like this morning, it wasn't, and I was trying to fix it online while everything was running, and it wouldn't let me. But I apologize for that. Number one. Number two, um, I used to have some cool little music that would, accompany the countdown. And it was kind of nothing stuff. Matrix kind of music. Well, anyway, after what was it, last week or 2 weeks ago on the net, when we first started doing um YouTube, after we started reinstituting YouTube back here, uh I got hit with a copyright strike. I got an email from some outfit that says, "Oh, we're claiming a copyright on music that you used in your broadcast." And I'm like, "What music? I don't use music in my videos." Um so anyway, today I just got rid of the music for that little countdown. A small thing, super freaking small, but um it's self-censorship. I decided I'll self-censor so we could keep it on YouTube and not have any problems. And I don't want to, well, I'm not monetized on YouTube for this channel. Um, don't have enough subscribers, don't have enough view time. It's all brand new. And I don't really advertise it. So it is what it is. But who's behind it is like big tech. Elon Musk is behind a technocracy. Um, uh, Bill Gates is behind technocracy, and he's doing things. He's doing like real evil things. Um, what do you guys think? He's into that medical crap where he's trying to affect, um your vaccines, the medication that you take, and he's trying to control the population. And what better way to do that than to give it to you in the vitamins or the food that you eat, and uh, maybe sterilize people so they're not reproducing, or you give us cancer, give us things that are going to kill us, end our lives prematurely. um let's see. So how close are we to this? You guys have any clues how close we are to this really taking over? And what we mean is the digital IDs, which are real ID, Jeff and I were talking about this before the show. Real ID is part of the technocracy, because what happens when you get a real ID? Everything is all digital already. TSA already knows. They can look you up by the little barcode, where they probably already have it in there. They know everything about you. It goes from state to state, you know. Let's see. AI, AI surveillance, which is instituted far and wide. I mean, in Europe, you can't do anything without cameras catching you. Here in the United States, it's really getting to be like that. The somebody had mentioned the flock cameras, and what's the difference between, Jeff? You seem to have known what it was, a flock camera versus just some other uh, surveillance camera.
I think the flock cameras, excuse me, I think the flock cameras are predominantly the license plate reading cameras that are scattered all over the country. And
Oh,
they're predominantly made for that versus just a regular surveillance camera. And that site that was posted actually takes you to a map that shows you where all the flock cameras are at in the country.
you need to speak a
I,
little closer to your mic because it's cutting out.
I am like as close as I'm gonna get, dude. I'm closer than I was pre-show, unless I swallow it.
Okay. Sorry. It just is what it is. It was all, but okay, let's see. Pamela in there says scale scalar weaponry, real ID, sound, frequency and vibration, biometrics. That's another thing. Along with your real ID, they hook that up with biometrics. Um, you know, and the biometrics, man, that's kind of spooky, because let's take real world example, the January 6th bomber, the person who put pipe bombs outside of the DNC and the RNC headquarters in Washington D.C. on January 6th, or on or about January 6th, uh, in 2021. They narrowed it down by the way this person walked, and her gait, and the way she stood, and how she walked, and to a 90, what was it, 93 to 98% uh, positive positive percentage that it was this gal who is or was a Capitol police officer at the time. She worked for the Capitol Police. Imagine that. Um, and you know, her punishment for doing this, because you know they called off all the investigations when they started to get close. She now works for the CIA because you know, hey, we had a saying in our department, and I'm sure it went through like most departments: "F up, move up." Ah, yeah. Pamela says her heat signature is was on the satellite imagery. Yeah, just kind of kind of crazy. Whoa, I have music behind me. Let's see. So, what do you guys think? Terry, what say you? We had a debate, and I know Jeff and I kind of had this little debate going. Is the technocracy linked to the mark of the beast?
Um, Hang on again. I've got. I hate this. These commercials coming up on my screen. I'll have to kind of turn them
Okay.
off. So
So, according to my research, it says yes, sources explicitly tie the technocracy to the biblical mark of the beast, describing it as the modern beast system. Excuse me. Um,
I'm back, by the way.
okay. And it kind of lists a bunch of stuff, but I tend to trust Terry a little bit more because you've been studying this for 40 plus years now.
Yeah, makes makes me look old, doesn't it? Make me sound old, huh? Yeah. The uh, People don't realize how close we are to the really things just coming coming to pass. It's just now understand that the chip in the hand that we've talked about before, that's we're not at the mark of the beast yet. The mark of the beast won't be until the middle of the tribulation, and that's 3.5 years into the 7 year what we call tribulation. But all this stuff that we are seeing is working towards that goal. When the time finally comes when the mark of the beast is going to be established, they're going to have it all done and perfected. So what you're seeing right now is a prelude to it. You see it coming together. They're testing it. They're making it work. So what do they need? They need to be able to follow everybody in the world, and that sounds like how can technology, all this stuff, follow everybody, everything you do, what you watch, what you listen to on anything that's computerized, anything you are. Now, the thing of it is in order for them to do that, they have to have one thing functioning perfectly. In order to follow everybody in the world, you need millions of workers, working in a computer place. And the only thing that could do that better is AI. When you have these AI being able to instantaneously follow people, pop up when if they say something. Have you ever noticed lately? I don't know if you have, but there's a word that I've noticed they're using. It's unalive. They don't say suicide. They don't say murder. They don't say. He said this person is now unalive. What in the world is unalive?
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's part of the self censorship that people are doing uh, on different social medias, so they don't trigger the algorithm and
Right.
get something, get a comment banned or get them suspended for anything. And that's a big part of this.
It,
Um,
imagine you saying, "Yeah, this person unalived themselves." It's like, my gosh, what kind of language do we do we now?
well,
Do we now?
yeah, and well, you know what? You think of it, it's interesting. You think of the book 1984, and they've changed so many of you know,
Word.
so many of the parts of the language.
Yeah.
Um,
There's certain words we're not allowed to say. But okay? So you're asking about. So we're going to need AI, and AI is being perfected right now. You can see that we're not all there yet. Even Trump is involved in doing that, and so you got to have AI in order to follow everybody's financial activity, what they're doing, what they're saying, where they're at, where they're moving to, all that stuff. So we're not there yet, but all this stuff is coming together, and
well,
we're going to see
I
it more
think
and more.
we kept hearing, especially in the last administration, that we were, just months away from them doing away with the dollar and going to this digital dollar. And I would say a major setback to that came early in early this year when President Trump signed an executive order banning federal agencies from issuing or endorsing CBDC, referred to as a digital dollar. This move was framed as protecting privacy and preventing government overreach. through, though critics argue it cedes ground to competitors like China's digital yuan or Europe's CBDC efforts. I see that as I see that as a good thing, um, because that to me, that's the final piece of the puzzle. If you control the money, you could, if the money is completely digital and you can't hold it in your hand like you hold a cup of coffee. I control this cup right now. Nobody could turn this cup off. Nobody could turn my dollar off. But if it's all digital, it can
Yeah.
just be turned off.
The problem is it's going to happen. It's going to happen, and it's going to happen everywhere. Because first of all, the Bible says this is where we're going to end up, where we have the all. It's all digital. It's all going to eventually be to a card, and then eventually to a chip, and eventually the chip will be implanted, and you either do it or you don't buy or sell. You can't do anything. But we're a ways from that. We're a ways from that yet. But everything that we're doing is moving towards that. I mean, Trump may say, I don't want the digital, but yet he's in the process of building huge plants for the digital and
Oh,
with
yeah.
AI and all that stuff. So whether he knows it, I'm a Trump guy, but Trump is great when it comes to doing a deal financially and getting business. But the problem is he is blind to the workings of Islam and how they maneuver people around, how they buy things, how they pay for things, and what they do. So all the things that we see happening now that you and I just, oh my gosh, what's going on? We see it because we understand the workings of Islam. Islam has a goal to take over the world. I know that sounds absolutely nuts, but if you listen to them and you read their material, you realize that's the goal. And the goal that they're doing right now is they're slowly inhabiting city by city by city. And not only in this country, but especially in other countries where they pretty much have taken over. If this continues to go through with Mandami in New York, it's gone. New York's gone, just like Dearborn is gone. Um, think about this: you get a Muslim mayor, and tens of thousands of Muslims move in, take over that city, pray on the streets, stop traffic, and the next election, who do you think they're going to vote for? They're not going to vote for. They're going to vote for another Muslim or the same Muslim, and so New York's gone. So just wave it goodbye. But
I
they're trying to.
I
They're,
agree.
they're trying to do it in other cities and bigger cities, and they will accomplish it. Now, you and I may be gone by then, and I'm hoping that will happen with the rapture. But even so, to now, we need to be aware this is going on. So, what I see Trump doing, for example, when Israel and Trump hit Iran, and then afterwards, Israel wanted to go in and finish it up, and Trump said, "No, can't do that." Well, now where we're at, we're back to square one again. Iran is getting ready to do some more. Same thing with Hamas. If they would have been able to go into Gaza and finish it off, like they had 80% of Gaza taken care of, but no, he said can't do that. Well, now they're back down. I just Trump is being used by these guys. These guys know how to negotiate better than Trump does. Believe me. Same thing with what they call the West Bank, which is Judea and Samaria, which is Israel's. They wanted to go in there and do stuff, and Trump says no, you can't. You can't do it. Won't let you do it. Well, they're just he's being used by these guys, and I know he thinks he's doing good, but he's not helping them. So we see this getting worse and worse. So the digital money that we're seeing is going to be used to control us,
Mhm.
and it's going to happen. But we can hold back as long as we can, and use cash, gold, silver, bartering, whatever we want, as long as we can. But eventually, we're going to get to the point where people. Now, this is down the road. People will either have to learn how to barter and get away, and people will learn that because the Bible says that in the last days, after the rapture is gone and we're in the tribulation, there'll be new Christians coming. People saying, I heard this all my life, I didn't believe it. I'm going to accept it now. They'll become a Christian, and many of them will be martyred. Many of them will make it all the way through. the tribulation to the end of the tribulation to go on into the millennium. Well, these people that made it all the way through learned how to barter, learned how to do other things and live off the system. But there'll be many who will not. They'll get the. I want you to think about this. Okay, we get this chip in the finger, and that chip in the hand. They'll have that before they have the mark, and so people will be getting it. They're getting it right now over in Europe. I think is it Switzerland or Sweden, one of the two. They've had it for years now, and it'll be fine. No, that's not the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is when there's actually a mark, like a brand, on the hand or the forehead that says, "I belong to the Antichrist, to Satan," basically. But here's the thing I was thinking about. What if in that chip they put a little device, kind of like Israel did with the handhelds, the walkie talkies, and they flipped a switch and poof, blew up? What happens if they put that same little device, like a thing, in the forehead or in the hand, and you were not cooperating, you were off the system, you took off, and they just said turn the switch, and you went unalive. And just we're headed in places where people would think, well, that sounds like a great sci-fi movie, but I'm
The
sorry.
sci-fi movie is here. It's real now. I mean,
I
it's
mean, think about
crazy.
I like to watch iRobot, but imagine that happening in real life. Robot
Yeah.
iRobot. How about
Well, the chip exploding actually happened in the Kingsman movies.
oh, did it?
There's a
Okay.
Oh,
movie out
really?
called The Kingsman. Oh yeah, The Kingsman, and they did
Oh,
that. Is my
So why
sound
not?
any better now that I'm swallowing my mic?
yes.
Yeah, you're good.
100%.
Okay,
That's ridiculous.
here's another thing. Geoengineering, or chemtrails, whatever they want to call it. The stuff in the air. I've worked at an airport. My dad owned an aircraft instrument shop. I actually worked on an airlines for a while. The long contrail is short, and it's gone in 10 minutes. But when you see these trails that go all the way across the sky and they stay there, and another one goes across the sky and they stay there, and pretty soon all these contrails are blending together. What's in them? I mean, we actually know what's in a lot of them, barium and all this other stuff, which I can't ever remember, but there's stuff in it. So what happens if they put the vaccine stuff in there, or something else to kill off the people or the animals or the food? What happens if they did that? If your field of food that you have seen your farmers grow for years are now dying off, or you people that are eating it are dying off. When I moved to Reading, that's where I was pastoring my last church. I noticed, I talked to people, and all these women were getting cancer. I'd be at a restaurant, we'd talk to a family. Oh yeah, she had cancer. I have never been in a place where more people, especially the women, I don't know why, had cancer, were having cancer, or had cancer, or died of cancer. And I thought, what in the world? This is not a big city. Why is everybody dying of cancer? And I'm just wondering. I'm not saying it happened, but what if it's all that stuff in the air, and it was more designed to affect women as a test? Now that could be in a conspiracy theory. I don't know. It's just a thought. Just a thought. So there's a lot of things that are working towards the point where Jesus is going to come and rescue his people,
Yeah.
and we're getting closer to that. And there's a lot more I could say, but I'll let it go for now.
Yeah. Yeah, God, there's so many good comments today. This is this is what I wanted to see is all these comments. Shadow Bear says Trump has been a big disappointment lately, not really working towards making America great again. Unlike some are saying, it doesn't mean that I regret voting for him. May cost us midterms though. Yeah, there's some things that I think he's kind of just let fall by the wayside. Um, let's see. The money is in the bank. Uh, the scarier it is knowing. Oh yeah, yeah. So Jeff, you had talked to RDO.
Yep.
They can tax digital currency.
Yep. Yep. they can tax it and they can also turn it off. I mean, let's face it. If it's digital and you don't have it in your hand, like that cup in your hand, all they got to do is flip a switch, and all that money that you got wrapped up in the digital side of things, whether it be the bank, your stocks, your mutual funds, they just snap their fingers and boom, it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, turn it off. Here's another thing that I find interesting. You notice how the mega and the conservatives were really together, got Trump elected, and I'm seeing now two things happening. There's two. Where's this? Two things happening, and I can't find where the camera is. And the two things I believe are devastating for the conservatives. Number one, conservatives are being divided right now, and I'm seeing conservatives, right wing conservatives, being divided right in half, and I'm seeing Christians being divided. And those two things are really important. And let me tell you what it is. It's anti-Semitism. Right now, we have conservatives. Some are pro-Israel. Some are against Israel. Some think that that we shouldn't have anything to do with it. These are conservatives, and we see that happening. We see it happening with Charlie Kirk and all this stuff that Cameron and Tucker are. What's her name? Brown. What's that gal's name? Candace Brown. Candace,
Candace
whatever her name.
Owens.
Candace Owens. Thank you. And Tucker. They they have successfully divided the conservative movement. And there are a lot of people that listen to Tucker and follow him when he talks about Israel and he talks about the Bible with Israel. He doesn't know squat about the Bible. I question if this guy is even saved using Christian terms. I don't think he is. He goes to a denomination that has lost it years ago. But he's dividing. Notice how many people think Israel. Israel's our ally over there, and if they weren't over there, they would be over here now. The Muslim attacks would be coming against America. So it's Israel first, the little Satan, and then the great Satan, which is America. So we need Israel. Now, besides the fact that we need them, and people say, "Oh, we shouldn't be giving them money." They buy stuff from us. They pay for it, you know. And am I hearing things, or is that you, Bob? Noise from behind.
It's out there.
Oh, it's the kids. Okay. And so the second thing is the Christian community. There's a heretical doctrine called replacement theology. You heard me mention this once before, where the Jews don't, God's done with them. The Christians are now replacing the Jews. That's heresy. That's not right. But it's dividing churches like you can't believe it. I talk to politician Christians that go along with that. And it's just like, no, the Bible doesn't teach that. The Jews are the Jews, and God will bless those that bless the Jews. Who are the Jews? They are those that came from Abraham, and that's they're here today. And so people say, well, that's not them. They're here, and they're from Europe, and they're from. Yeah, sure, they got scattered all over the world, but it's still the Jews. And so the Christians are being divided, and many Christians not only are they anti-Semite, but they're when I watch them talk about it, or even I discuss it with, they get mad. Well, you Christians, you dispensationalists, or you this or that, you're the worst people. And it's like, oh, whoa, Christians are being divided, and many Christians. So that's you, Lord.
That was
So
me. Sorry.
it's
I'm
okay.
screwing around with stuff over here.
I just
And
wondered if God was talking to me about that. But anyway, so things are going nuts. So let me tell you, and
and I
the
don't see
Christians
him
need to.
getting any better. I
It's
just don't
not.
see him.
The Bible says in the last days there's going to be a great falling away. And let me tell you, I know that a lot of Christians don't like to hear this, but when you say falling away, you can't fall away from something that you weren't there in. And so people will be leaving the faith. People say, no, once you're in the faith, you can't. Well, sure, you can. You can walk away from anything, and God's not going to stop you if that's what you want to do. So there's going to be a great falling away. And we're seeing people begin to behave, Christians behave in a way that we shouldn't be behaving that way. I just, we need to get back to serving God and being who we truly are. I put a little post in Facebook just a half hour ago, an hour ago now, and it says, I'm done listening to YouTube or watching Facebook when the F word is used all the time. I mean, it's used like the word the. F this, F this, F this, F this, F this, F this. And these are guys I like, and these are even guys that call themselves Christian. They just can't stop saying the F. I said, I'm done. If there's a YouTube or a Facebook that I'm watching or reading and it's F this, I'm not even going to look at it. So I'm hoping other Christians will turn that off too and just say, we're done. I'm not going to do that. So get back to thinking I don't have to have the F word every. I don't like to hear it because it's in my head whether I want to say it or not. And so anyway, these are things that are happening right now that's truly scattering us. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so we need to step up and say
Yep.
enough,
So
enough.
we've talked about a lot of the what's going on. I guess we haven't even really scratched everything that is going on that's, basically making us self-censor, making us kind of go underground, talking in codes on social media so you don't get banned or whatever, unalived on social media. Um, let's talk about some of the things that we can do to not be part of this, or if we're not going to be part of this or separate ourselves from it, how do we get on? And that's, like the barterable, doing barter. Um, that's part of what this whole net is all about, is building a community where we're able to help each other, to trade with each other, to uh, make a parallel economy, basically, because we know that uh, what happened in the last 4 years, or the last 5 years, will happen again. And sorry, they're outside the studio talking. um, but it will happen again. You guys disagree?
You know,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
We see, we're all happy now because of Trump in there, but Trump's not going to be there forever,
no,
and
he's not. And I
and
think I I don't think we're going to have, even if say Vance or somebody from our side gets in the next time. I don't think they're going to have the presence to get things done. They're going to try to work within the system more, and not just get it done.
That's why I said a few weeks ago in the episode that unfortunately I totally shat upon with my internet woes that while times are good, because even though it seems like they're bad, they're really good for us right now, is the time that we need to take advantage and become more prepared for the near future.
Yes, 100%, 100%, and that's kind of what this is all about. Is we want to become more prepared. Um, I'm talking about learning new skills, things that are recession proof, are economy proof skills.
Right.
Uh,
Everything. Learning
yeah,
learning more skills, getting right with your maker, um, becoming prepared and having stockpiles of things. Um, look at the last couple of weeks with this, or I could say months, with this government shutdown. Um, those that were prepared were a lot better off than those that relied on the government handouts, the SNAP benefits, things like that.
yeah.
Um, that should be a signal to us to continue to be vigilant with our preparedness.
It really should, and it should wake people up who are kind of on the fence about it. I mean, what harm does it do to look into things like herbal medicine instead of pharmaceutical stuff. That's a big thing that Pamela um, she's super heavy on the herbal medicine stuff, doing things like woodworking, uh, mechanical stuff. If you have a skill, I mean, if you're an auto mechanic, if you're a plumber, an electrician, whatever, you need to start. We need to start bartering our skills um, and our stockpiles instead of
KK7 KK7 RDO posted, while in the grid, you'll have to learn to live off the grid. And
yes,
couldn't agree more. Now is a good time to be practicing that kind of stuff.
One thing that we need to realize, and we don't do that, is that the things that we're doing right now to prepare, stocking up food, stocking up solar generators, guns, ammo, all the stuff that we're preparing, when the poop really hits the fan, that eventually will disappear. That's going to be gone. And in other words, we may be chased out of our house. We may be attacked. Who knows what? When that happens, here now listen to this carefully. We're going to have to learn new skills and techniques and devices that we have never thought of before and that we are not practicing now. Does that make sense? In other words, what helps us now is the fact that we are already thinking how to prepare. So when the poop hits the fan and we no longer can stay in our house, we're chased out where our food is and our weapons are and our ammo is, we're going to have to learn new skills. But because we have been thinking already new skills and learning new ideas, when we are out in the world without the stuff we now have, we'll have a better ability, a better mindset to figure out the skills we need to use. Am I making sense there?
yeah,
Or are you lost? In other words, the people that aren't doing anything right now, when the poop hits the fan, they're lost. Where am I going to get food? I'll have to go line up. I'll have to do what they say. We're thinking, okay, I lost my house. I was chased out by FEMA. They grabbed my stuff. I had to grab my gun and the ammo I have. Now I have to learn brand new ideas to survive and get along. But because I've already been studying and getting ideas and developing new ideas in my head, I'll have a better mindset how to respond. It's kind of like Bob, when you and I were cops, we studied and practiced car stops and all these things when we were training, so that when the poop hits the fan, we stopped somebody that had a gun. We responded. But not only did we learn how to respond, we learned how to rethink ideas. How should I move now? What should I look for now since this isn't working? I don't know if I'm making sense to you. I
yeah.
make sense.
No, do you have any ideas or anything in your mind right now that about retraining ourselves?
No, because I don't know what I'm going to have to train for. But I do know that because I have been training, I'm going to be able to pick up that skill better,
Yes.
quicker, because I've already been thinking about how to survive rather than just thinking what line I should get in to get food and obey the people that are ordering.
Yeah,
I'm going to
yeah,
be thinking about how do I survive? How do I make a trap to catch a rabbit or something, or do I not go in this direction because it's dangerous over here? Or I mean, well, because we've already been thinking it, we'll know how to respond better to new ideas that we haven't even thought of. I don't know if
yeah.
that makes sense.
Oh,
Makes
yeah.
sense to me. I,
Um, that kind of makes me think of something, when they shut off that money supply, that digital money, turn you off because you're not thinking or you're not getting in line like the good little sheep that they want you to get it be. Um, how do you, well, I mean, like I take myself, I got a house payment. If they turn off my money supply, I can't make my house payment. Then they come and take the house. Um, They take your car, they take whatever, you know, I mean, they're going to do whatever they're going to do outside your outside of your control. But then we have to start thinking of, okay, what's inside of my control that I can do in the meantime. Um,
And
I,
those who are prepared will be able to do that quicker and easier. When I say prepared, I mean they've already have a mindset of I need to provide for myself and I need to make sure that I am safe. And
what, what I thought was super funny, well, wasn't funny, but you know, when when the SNAP benefits were going to run dry, and you had all these women on TikTok or whatever, you know, making these little videos saying, "I'm just going to go steal everything. That's my my kids are going to eat. I'm going to steal everything. I'm just going to go take it." Um, and they're not thinking things through, because when it gets that bad, if you think you're just going to go take it, you're going to you're going to end up unalived. You're going to have a you're going to have a third ear with a with a direct connection.
you notice when these, and I don't know if some of these were, fake. She says, I've got 9 children from 9 different fathers, and I need the $4,400 because I'm not going to work. I am not going to work. I haven't worked. I'm allergic to work and all that. And, I don't know if those are real or somebody's faking them, but it's kind of like the idea, well, maybe you should go to work. It's something they haven't even thought of. Maybe I
Well,
should get a
yeah,
job.
that's their business, is staying on EBT and SNAP and everything else.
Yeah,
I saw a video, I think it was yesterday. It just blew my mind, of these two gals just kind of talking, and the camera was just kind of not, the camera wasn't like focused on one thing. It was very much like somebody's just holding their phone, kind of filming. And she showed this other gal her account, her EBT account, with $13,000 in an EBT account. What person, what family needs $13,000 in an EBT account? And they're just absolutely gaming the system.
that's what they're doing.
But, you know, that might last them. That might last them, you know, a couple of months, once, you know, if the money supply got shut off. But just like that, that EBT is digital money. And the government can come in and say, you know what, we're turning it off, we're taking it back. It's not in their hand. It's not a cup in their hand.
Hmm.
It's they are they still got to play nice with the government, even though the government right now lets them talk bad about it. But the government could say at any time, hey, you get on the wrong side of us and we just shut that off.
You caused me to think about something here a minute ago, and I forgot what it was.
Now you can't think about it. Pamela has a couple of really good. Well, let's see. Let's start with Russell's here. Before electricity, Americans were self-sufficient. Modern conveniences have destroyed that. Yeah, 110%. And these are some of the skills that I'm advocating that we kind of readjust, or reacquire some of those skills. I think we need to connect with like-minded groups, Christian groups, prepper groups in our areas. It's gotta be, it has to be local. Um, do I think right now, other than say an EMP, do I think that they're going to shut off the cell phones? No, I don't. Because number one, that's the biggest way that they track us. They
Yeah.
track everywhere you go. They know everything you do. They know what stores you go into. Um, they're probably monitoring so they could, if they wanted to turn on your microphone, they they probably could. We need to start developing skills on not bringing these things with us, or at least not having not having them have the ability to track us. Um, it, you know, these things, everybody's got their Facebook and their Instagram hooked up on these things. Everything is on there. And you think government, with the help of government AI, doesn't know everything that you're doing? They don't want to shut that off. That's the last thing they want to do, is have those become worthless, because that's how they're monitoring us, is from those. Um, so, I mean, then what's the way out? You gotta, number one, you gotta ditch these things, or at least use them strategically. I highly suggest people throw these things in an RFI bag, and and just shut it down unless you're using it for something. Um, Now, do we use them for mapping and some very useful things? Yeah, we do. But there's a lot of times I think that we can practice kind of disconnecting from those devices. Let's see. Pamela has some great stuff. Problem solving skills. Yeah, I mean, when we were talking about what we need to do, the things that we don't know that we're going to need to do, we need to work on the critical thinking skills and problem solving. So when something hits, when the you hit the wall for whatever reason, you go, oh, okay, now I could turn left, I could turn right, I could go up, or I could tunnel under, kind of thing. Um, Working during daylight due to no electricity is a good situation to train for. Working during daylight. Huh,
Practicing.
interesting.
So work during daylight since you're not going to have power to have lights at night.
Right. Yeah. And we, our society pretty much is a daylight driven society for work. Um, Most businesses are not open all night, save a few. Don't forget about two-way radio with tracking and GPS tracking device. Yeah, GPS on radios is that's a little bit different. Um, the radio here, your phone, these are directly tied to you. That's directly tied to your name, unless you've got just a burner phone. Um, your name, all your identifying information. This radio, on the other hand, even if it has GPS on it, is not tied to you per se. It can be tied to you. These little POC radios, as amazing as they are, these are tied to you, but they're using a different system. They're using the old 3G and 4G systems that are legacy. They're not as trackable, And from somebody who used to work in the industry, these run off the same system that old cell phones used to run off of. Actually, that say the old used cell phones uh, that sheriff's departments, cities, and stuff will hand out to the homeless as a free call 911 phone, and we pay for that. We pay for that nationwide, and that's why 3G and 4G are still active. You could pull out everything up to the old analog cell phone. Um, and they're not as trackable. Um, now these actually, I mean, they are trackable through cell phone towers, but if I handed one, if I handed one to each one of you, uh, they don't know who who it is all by itself. Now, if you're carrying the thing around and you've got this in your pocket that's directly tied to you, and you've got this in your pocket, and they're together, and they want to find out who's carrying this. It's going to be very, very easy when you've got this in your pocket to go everywhere that this goes. So it's kind of like the Capitol police officer with her gate. We can very quickly do that. So, but if this is off or not with you, even when these are off, they're still tracking you. Yeah, they are. Yeah, it's Miko Wolf. They basically are the same technology as Nextel push to talk without the cell phone built in. Let's see. New vehicles are going to have shut-off switches in them. So the cops could turn off the car if they don't like. Uh some of that technology is there. That there are some very big legal hurdles in there, uh, having to do with the Fourth Amendment, search and seizure, because that is an actual seizure, and you can't make a seizure of property without some sort of a warrant. So that's why they have external things that can disable a car and not have them built in, so you could just go, oh, I'm gonna go push a button and disable the vehicle. Have a 3G phone. Yeah, a 3G phone with a satellite in it, so you could still use that. Yeah, definitely. Um, the biggest things though that I see are going to be cooperatives, underground networks, uh, church groups, um, and co-ops, kind of thing like that. We need to get back into that, and that's what I'm kind of really hoping that this net fosters, is the fact that we need to find like-minded people, and we need to teach each other all the skills that we need. Like Jeff's got mad medical skills, and I got none. um, Jeff needs to teach us some of those medical skills. Um, Generally, most of us on this platform, we're kind of versed in radio. That's the main common thing that brings us all together. Is our usage of radio, which makes us all the subject matter experts. Do we know more than the average person? Yes. we do for the most part. Uh Man,
I'm gonna have to go pretty quick. So let
that's what
me
I was just gonna say. You're about done.
yeah, I want to make one more. I want to figure out where the sun's coming from. Don't mind me if I'm half shady and half bright, but anyway, one of the things that we need to understand here is violence is going to increase. We've been talking about technology and stuff like that, but one of the things the left and the demonic group that's leading this anti Christ regime, they need to get weapons away from the law abiding. Have you ever noticed that those who use the weapons are from the left? I remember years ago, I mentioned this to a video that was real popular, and I said, have we done any study to see how much of the violence that we see happening, whether it's a mass shooting or this comes out of a liberal family, a Democrat family, whatever you want to call them, and boy, that guy just shut me down. It was on, I just typed it in there, and it just shut me down. Wait, yeah, we can't talk about it. And we've noticed now that it does happen. But what we're going to see, and what we're seeing, is Antifa and them are getting much more violent. I mentioned this months and months and months ago that we're going to see more violence. It's going to be more weapons are going to be used, and let me tell you why. They need to have the weapons. They need to have the violence, and it needs to go crazy in America with the big cities and the smaller cities so that they can call martial law, so that they can avoid the Constitution and try to shut down our ability to not only have weapons, but to use them and carry them for our protection. So that's a possibility of something we need to think about in the future is that how are they going to stop us from having guns when it's constitutional right for us to have them? Martial law. Now, you and I, like for me, for example, you can have all the martial law you want. You're not getting my guns, and but the thing it is, then fine, they'll come in with an army, maybe the UN or whatever, and take my guns, and we might have to have a fight about that. But the point is that we're going to see more of this to where they're setting us up. Now, of course, the liberals are going to have to be in office, but who knows what's going to happen or when that's going to happen? But it will happen because they are very good at cheating, lying, and stealing, and paying off, and that's what they do. And don't
Yep.
forget too, the riots that you're seeing right now and all the violence, those aren't people in the city violating. Those are paid rioters from Soros and people like him. And they're paid. They're paid a lot. They have workers that go in there that wear their little outfits and they have a bullhorn and they're there to stop any conservative from interfering with the riots because that's what they're paid to do. And they need to come to a point where they make a law that if you're paying for this riot, you're arrested, your money is confiscated, and the people that are rioting aren't getting any paid, and they're not guaranteed money to get out of jail and that will support you in court and all that. It's gone. So that these guys that are prospering from rioting, like Antifa and others, they won't prosper anymore. They'll know
Mm-hmm.
that if I get arrested in a city that's a sanctuary city, I'm going to be arrested under federal law, and the city, your city, and it doesn't matter. You're going to go to jail, and so cut their money off, and they won't be there rioting because they don't give a rip that
Yeah.
the illegal aliens are there. They don't care that they're raping and robbing and murdering and killing and stealing. They don't care. All they care about is I'm getting $3,000 a month from being out here causing havoc, and they'll pay for my bail and they'll pay for my court costs, and that's what they care about. So we need to stop that. If you want to stop this, stop it. Why aren't we doing that? Why aren't we doing that? What kind of a law do they need to make to do that? I don't know. That's not my game. So anyway, I just know that here's something, and I'll end with this. In biblically speaking, America is not seen in the Bible. Israel, one day, when the battle comes, that's something we could talk about one of these days. They're going to be attacked by at least seven sides. When that happens, the big one, when it really happens, America won't be there to be their ally. So they'll be all by themselves. And so, what's going to happen to us in America that prevents us from helping them? Number one, a different president that doesn't care about them, or number two, we're in our own chaos. So I know that sounds negative, but it's all written down. It's going to happen. So anyway, so I'm
Yep.
going to close. You have anything to ask me before I leave?
Uh, let's see. Does anybody have any questions? We got both chats up. So if anybody's got anything for Terry, and I know Terry had said he's got to be out before 11:30 or
10:30.
10:30. 10:30.
Jeff, it's good to see you again. Glad you're back in the saddle again.
Good to be back. Thank you.
Okay,
With a
guys. Well,
microphone that works. Okay. All right,
we'll
Terry.
see
Hey,
you.
thanks for being part. Thanks for jumping in. I know you were looking forward to sleeping in this morning.
Yeah, I was up anyway, so it didn't matter. We'll
Part
see
of
you
the
guys.
old man syndrome.
I know it. I've earned it. I think all these years being alive
Yep.
still.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, my
Adios.
friend.
Better than being unalived. Better than being
Yeah,
unalived.
Yes.
I agree. Take
Yep.
care.
Okay. See
Yeah.
ya. All right. So now and then there were two. Then there was two. So anyway, some of the things that I was thinking about is that we need to start working on, or that I need to start working on, because I built a fairly good infrastructure here. But then I started thinking, man, if I can't make my mortgage payment, they come in, they legally come take my stuff. So
And
you need to work on eliminating or renegotiating your debt early.
yeah, just go
So
pay it off tomorrow. Well, Monday when they open, pay it off.
Monday, yeah,
Go pay it off.
and you know, I wish I could. I mean, I had an opportunity when I first bought this place. I could have paid cash, done, just taken everything out, paid cash for the place, and been done. But then here's the rub. You own your house free and clear. You owe property taxes every year. You don't pay your property tax because, oh, you can't buy or sell because you haven't taken to the mark of the beast, or you haven't, or you say the wrong things, and you're not, and they turn your money off because you're a bad boy, and then they come take your house anyway because you haven't paid your taxes because you can't pay
Well,
your
then you pay
taxes,
them with all your hidden gold.
but they
Come
won't
on,
take it.
Bob. You're better than that.
They won't
Good
take
point.
it.
Good
That's the
point.
thing. So, bartering, to me, in my opinion here, it's my last stand. And, you know, if they blow it up, or if God blows it up, oh well, it is what it is. If I get taken out defending my place because they won't let me make my payments, oh well, it is what it is. Bartering for essentials, stockpile tradable items, um, non-perishable foods, fuel, batteries, tools, ammo, firearms, um, tools. Yep. Exchange stuff for services like utilities or repairs. Um, in a beast-like system, this mirrors historical black markets where cash is irrelevant. Hey, that's how Bitcoin started. Did do you know what Bitcoin was originally used for? It
Nope.
was Bitcoin when it first came out was used to in the drug trade, in the black market. People were buying and selling using Bitcoin because it was non-traceable, and the government couldn't scoop it up. Um, you could put your You could put your Bitcoin wallet, say, on your phone, and if your phone got taken, you could just go buy a new phone. Or if you didn't want to take your phone with you, you could go to, say, Tokyo, buy a phone, restore your wallet, and have access to your money.
Too
So
bad that guy in the UK didn't get that memo.
yeah. Well, then governments started figuring it out, and they started putting their controls in and everything. Off-grid alternatives for bills. Generate your own power with solar power, wind. Collect rainwater. Use wood stoves for heating to bypass utility dependencies. These are all things that we could be practicing right now.
Should be practicing
We
right
should
now.
be practicing. I wanted to do, before I went solar, I was I was going to, I was just intent on doing this, uh, flipping the switch, turning my breakers off, and living for a weekend completely off grid. Now I can still do that, and but it at this point, I almost think that the EMP situation is a lot further down my list than all of these other things that I see happening. The civil unrest, the civil war, civil unrest, economic collapse. I see those two as like the things that would probably happen more than an EMP. Yeah. What do you think?
I completely agree. I've kind of always thought that, I mean, yeah, it doesn't hurt to have the thoughts of prepping for an EMP, but let's get the basics down first. And the basics is losing your money, losing your power, losing your food, and most importantly, losing your water.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so trying to do off-grid alternatives. Community pooled resources. Join groups or form groups where members share the cost. Like the faith-based co-op that pays um, uh, medical insurance right now. I forget what that one is, but they've uh, they've instituted that. It's like a Christian a Christian alternative for health insurance, and it's basically a co-op. Underground churches providing mutual aid, as seen in persecuted Christian histories. Feeding yourself and your family. Self sufficiency, of course. Grow and raise your own food. If you're homesteading, if you're making gardens, if you've got animals, chickens, you got goats or cows for milk, remember those things are barterable. And I would start looking now, setting up these systems close to you where you can call somebody and you could say, hey, I need a plumber to come out and fix this pipe or fix this system. And if you can find somebody who's open to doing that for a trade off, and right now, yeah, it's times are good, so it's harder to do that. But when times get bad, we're going to need to do that. Water and sanitation autonomy. Securing clean water via wells, filtration, or rainwater collection. Remember, not all water is potable water, and you might need to filter it. And you got to have water, or you're not gonna be alive very long. Uh what else? What else can we talk about here? Um Shadow Bear says they screw with the crime reporting to show stats that favor their agendas. Oh yeah. I mean that has been going on for forever and ever. They will adjust the narrative to to or they will adjust their facts and report what they want. Um, I think one of the best ones was they estimated there was what 20 to 25 FBI agents at the January 6th um, protest. And now
Right.
they came out and they said, oh, there was 270. There was damn near more FBI agents than there were people, I think, that went in. They've been prepping from day one. Now they sell their freeze-dried food. Latter-day Saints.
Right above that. Yeah. Yeah. Right above that.
Yeah, aka the Mormons. Yeah. Um yeah, the Mormons they've been on top of this for forever. Um and that's something that you don't have to be a Mormon to go use some of their facilities
Right.
and and at least become trading partners with them. Now, if it gets really desperate, are they going to come take your stuff or unalive you? They might. They might. It wouldn't surprise me. But if you make yourself, if you're a hard target, then you're a hard target. It Security measures protect your setup with physical barriers, self-defense. These are all things that we have talked about time and time again. Um, Health prep, teach everyone survival basics, fire starting, first aid, stockpile medical supplies, focus on preventative health through nutrition and exercise. Uh, and you can only do so much of that. So it pays, or it would be most beneficial if you have somebody in your inner circle that knows medicine and can play doctor for the rest of the group. I'm a big proponent in you have a diverse group with you've got people that understand construction and repair. You got people that understand security concerns, and they can be the head of security. You got people that are the head of medical. They understand what's going on. And that's, I think, what you're going to need, because there's very few people that are a master of everything. And those people usually are going to end up unalived very quickly. I don't know. And mobility. Keep passports current for potential relocation to less controlled areas. So passports in our country right now are not a thing, but could they be? During COVID, they were issuing COVID passports where you couldn't pass into different places without having your proof of your shots right there on your phone. So yeah, I could see that, and with AI and with this technocracy, can you see that as being a true reality, a real passport inside
I
the
feel like
U.S.?
it. I feel like it exists in so many other countries. Why wouldn't it exist here?
Right
I
now,
mean,
it's just
a lot of
yeah,
other countries, that is their primary and almost sole form of identity.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, if you're trying to stay off the grid, you want to you want the least amount of biometrics. I don't know,
Right.
man. These are tough questions and everything.
Well, like we were talking about the real ID earlier before the show started, and you and I were getting into that a little bit. And, you know, I, I get it, but I kind of think that our driver's licenses were schwanked long before the real ID ever became an option. Because, I mean, I don't know about you or Idaho, but Michigan's had a barcode on the back of our driver's license for dozens of years before real ID was ever a thing, and
Oh
everything
yeah,
about us is already on them. So, yeah, I think we're already kind of there. We're just in the infancy stages of it, but it's just going to keep growing.
it is. It's going to keep growing, and I think, unfortunately, there's enough people that are just going to buy into it. They're going to just buy into whatever comes up. And I do use things, um, you know, I had in here one of the stats that I had in today's thing was, well, even though President Trump has has put the kibosh, at least for right now, on central bank digital currencies being the de facto currency here. So there's now a law, can't do that here. Um, where was it? 88% of 88% of all purchases in or all retail transactions in this country um, are digital right now. I mean, digital in the fact that you flip your ATM card, your debit card, or your credit card. So people
I'm
aren't
surprised it's
using.
not higher. I'm surprised it's not higher.
Yeah, what's funny is when I was out in California, it was like you never saw people running around with cash unless they were running around with enough cash to say buy a car from somebody.
Right, right.
Um, Out here, I see a lot more people using cash
Do you
for their
use cash
everyday.
more than digital?
I don't. It's and I should. I should just get enough money every week to pay cash for what I need to pay cash for. But then I end up wanting to hoard my cash. When I get the
Right,
cash
right.
out, then I'm like, oh, I better put this away for the rainy day. And
See, and I'm a little bit of the opposite. I don't tend to hoard the cash. I don't use cash hardly ever. I very rarely have it with me. And part of me is because I feel like, yes, like K Falls Bob just said, use it or lose it. I kind of feel like the longer you hold that piece of green paper, the better chance it has of being worth
worthless.
$0 at
I
all.
know. I
Exactly.
know.
Exactly.
Now I keep enough, and it's not okay. I know people who they keep $100,000 in cash stashed.
That's insane to me. I mean, I wish
Well,
I had that to keep
I
it,
hey, me too.
but
But
I'd keep it in silver or gold though.
but I keep enough cash that I could pay 2 weeks worth of bills, and if and I always said, if the big EMP hit right now and all the ATMs are down, all the credit card machines are down, nobody can accept a digital payment, I could go out and I could run to a store that's open, probably more like a mom and pop store that's
Right.
open, and I could pay cash and maybe fill up my gas tanks, maybe get bread, milk, eggs, get the staples to get me through a week or whatever.
Before it goes up to $65 a gallon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you gotta, you know, you've got to do this in the first 24 hours when people
Exactly.
still have that normalcy bias in their head and everybody still thinks the lights are coming back on in just a couple of hours when you know that it isn't. And there's signs.
Well, and Miko Wolf just posted something about, they're going to stop making the pennies, and that's
They
done.
just
Like
did, yeah.
the last mint has been struck, and how long is it going to be before nickels? And because the cost of making a nickel is worth far more than what the face value is of the nickel,
Yeah.
and the concern is, I think that's going to hyper escalate inflation, because I was reading something a week or so ago that in lieu of the fact that there are no more cents, that they're going to start just automatically, a lot of businesses are going to automatically round up
To the
instead
nearest
of down.
dollar. Yeah, of course.
To the nearest nickel for starters. But the point
Yeah.
is like if it was 1902 before, it's going to be 1905 automatically.
Yes.
And if it was 1907, it's going to be 1910. So they're automatically going to round up because of the lack of the penny, which to me is going to accelerate inflation and make things so much worse. Everything's
Yeah.
going to cost more. It always costs more anyway, but now they've got a legit excuse to make it cost more.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Pamela has a couple of good ones in here. Since shoestrings are currently $3.49 a pair, I keep some paracord. Hey, you know what? I didn't think about that. Keep keep a couple of rolls of paracord just to replace shoestrings, or enough. They stopped making pennies. Yep. Yeah, nothing will be $9.99 anymore.
Right.
It'll now be 10 plus tax. Don't control travel. All they have to do is limit gas availability. Yes. That is true. There will always be there will be some ways around that. I mean, you'll have a lot of gas thefts is what you'll have at that point. Currently make coin jewelry. Canada has
Miko Wolf.
eliminated
Yeah, go ahead.
production of cents. So yes, they round up. Oh yeah, exactly. They round
Yep.
up.
Yep. And Miko Wolf says, Jeff, I hope you don't have a blackout in the area because credit cards will not work. Don't ask me how I know this. Well, I agree with that, Miko Wolf, except that I have enough supplies that I'm going to last for several weeks, if not months, and I won't need the credit card. And if it's bad enough that the credit card doesn't work for longer than that, then we got bigger problems.
And right now, I say, yeah, that's true. Under any of the current conditions that exist right now, if we have that blackout, excuse me, and the credit card machines don't work, and the electricity doesn't work, and retailers can't accept your digital form of payment, your credit card, your ATM. Yes, if it is more than, say, a day, we have much bigger problems. And
Right.
and that's when your stockpiles really kick in. So,
Right.
okay, we're going to hunker down. We're going to we're going to start eating the mountain house and the
Yep.
MREs. And we're going to
Well,
start.
hopefully you don't have to go to that after a day. I hope you got some canned foods and stuff in there
Well,
that you
yeah,
can
but
use.
you're going to me, you're going to mix some of the canned food with some of the mountain house stuff and you'll come up with some better recipes.
My point is that I certainly hope that the people that watch this show faithfully, and you know who you are if you're some of the core viewers, I hope that you've taken something from this over the last couple of years, that you have enough preparedness and stockpiles that you could last for a month or more relatively easy without having to go to the store and use plastic cash or anything. I mean, I would certainly hope that we could all survive for a month or two, because to me, that's what I look at the purpose of this show is for,
Yeah.
is to give us the
Yeah.
knowledge to be prepared for things like that. And if I need plastic after a month, then there's bigger problems if it doesn't work. And we're already into the long-term storage. We're circling the wagons with our groups. We're doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
My bigger fear right now is this whole system of we're going to turn you off while
Right.
not turning off the rest of the country. We're going to single you out because of your views, or you did something that we don't like or whatever, and they could single you out, they could single me out, and
Kind of like because of your Rumble show.
yeah.
You bad news spreader guy, you.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm spreading news that they don't like, and they could turn my money off
Right.
because of that, that's what scares me more, because now I have to work. I'm still operating within their system. If everything shuts off 1 second after happens,
Yep.
everybody is in the same boat. The local
Yep.
government officials, everybody, and and yes, you got to protect what you've got, but if you are singled out and everybody else is still operating normally, I think you have a worse time, because they basically starve you out individually, and it's much easier to take your enemy apart one at a time until your enemy isn't a factor anymore, and then you unleash the rest of it.
I certainly hope that all of us are small enough that we would never be the topic of that concern. I'm
But
hoping they're going after the big boys
well,
before
you know
they
what?
ever get
Today
down to
maybe
us.
they're going after the big boys, or up front. Hell, I looked through the Biden administration, and who were they going after? They went after uh, when they went after Trump's attorneys for the mere fact that they defended him in court, and they arrested him. That is scary. That is super, super scary. You want to go after Trump, you go after Trump. But when you start going after, if you want to go after the number two or the number three guy, um, because you say he did something. But when you start going after the attorney who's defending him in court because he still has constitutional rights and a constitutional right to be defended in court, and you go after the attorneys for the mere fact that they are defending him in an attempt to dissuade any attorney from taking his case. That to me, you've turned the corner. That was the real tyranny that I saw. And that scares the hell out of me, because that'll happen again. Well,
Oh,
I'm
sure.
almost
There's no doubt it'll
positive.
happen again.
Yeah.
No doubt. And I
And
don't
when
think it
it
matters which administration's in power either.
no,
It'll happen
no.
again.
I mean, the left right now is screaming, I mean, they're out screaming that, Trump's a dictator. But if Trump was a true dictator, you wouldn't be able to go out and protest like you do. You wouldn't be able to make your TikTok videos like you do. We're still in good times. We are
Right.
still in good times right now.
I mean,
It's when,
they'd have to eliminate the entire judicial system, squelch the power of the Supreme Court, kill Congress, kill the U.S. Senate before Trump could ever be a dictator. There's too many checks and balances in there. Nobody's ever going to get elected to president and be a dictator. Not the way that this country currently runs.
you know what? I think we were closer. We were closer to that happening than we would like to think, because you had the cooperation of a lot of Congress. They were ready to stack the Supreme Court in their favor. They're not playing by the rules. They're making the rules up as they go along. If you stack the Supreme Court, if you had now, here's another thing. It says we're not at that point. We're not in a dictatorship. Is yes, the Republicans have the House, they have the Senate, they have the presidency. But what is the left fighting about? People that illegally came into the United States. It's not like, hey, we're doing away with the evil Christians or we're doing away with the evil Jews. It's we're just getting the people who came here illegally. We want them out. So, and that is and has been against the law to enter illegally. What I'm afraid of is when you have a media that won't report stuff that happened. And I take January 6th as kind of the watershed moment. You have a media that is in cahoots with the government that is not they're not giving out the information. They jailed how many 1600 people, maybe more. And they kept people in jail for things like trespassing. And you want to charge somebody for trespassing and stick them in jail for a week, make it fair. But they had people in jail for trespassing for years in solitary confinement. And the media did nothing. They said nothing. It was just like, oh, those evil January 6th people. They killed everybody. They just made stuff up. And I'm afraid that once another let's just call them a communist regime gets in, and now they've really taken the mask off. And they're now saying, yep, I'm a communist. I'm a socialist. I'm a communist. If they get back in, they will turn things up hard. They will, it will get bad. And these tech companies are all too happy to cooperate. A year ago, I would never have thought about putting this kind of content up on YouTube again. I just wouldn't have done it because YouTube and they still are, but they're a little bit more judicious about putting their thumb on people right now, because right now they're in fear of losing their Section 213 or 230 protections. They're uh, they're a little bit in fear of having our current administration or our current justice system come after them. They weren't afraid of that at all under Biden. That
Shadow
was,
Bear states Shadow Bear states the checks and balances only work to the extent that we all make them work. They could be ignored if someone had the backing of the right people and didn't care what others thought.
yeah. Law enforcement in this country exists and it works because the people allow it to work. If the people all
Agreed.
said, no, we don't accept it, it wouldn't work at all. Then it becomes who has the bigger gun.
Or
Yeah,
more.
or more. Who has the bigger gun, the better gun, or the most guns.
Most.
Yeah. uh People in New York, people in California, they allow the tyranny that is happening to them. Um they do. You know, I mean, a lot of people in New York City right now are afraid of what might happen or what probably will happen once this Mondavi guy gets um, gets installed as the
Yep.
mayor. But
Yep.
they are playing within the system still. They are allowing what's happening. Yes, Shadow Bear said it. Voluntary compliance. They give voluntary compliance to the bad guys. They complain about it, but they still play the game. Very interesting what happened under Biden. Things like Rumble were developed when other systems started to really fail conservatives, and we weren't able to get our viewpoints out. Because YouTube would shut down the big names. They would shut down everybody, really. If you talked about alternative ways to treat COVID, or if you questioned COVID mandates back in 2001, 2002, you were summarily dismissed from social media. I mean, they would what did they do? Alex Jones. They just like one day said, "You're off of all social media. You're done," and and they blanked him off of YouTube, um, uh, Twitter, everything. And then we started having things like Rumble popping up. They put their thumb on what was the other one? There was another social media site that started popping up that everybody started going to. And what they did is they put their they they talked those guys, or they talked, what did they do? How did they end that? It was, I don't know if it was MeWe or something, one of these other social media sites that people were starting to gravitate to. And what they did is they basically turned off the servers because they were, that's it. They were renting their server space from like Amazon or somebody big, so they could have growth. And the left basically pressured Amazon or whoever was hosting the servers to shut them off. And it basically killed their business. It shut them off in a day. Rumble came up and said, well, we're now hosting our own servers. We're hosting our own internet and our own backbone, and they can't shut us off. And that's why we have what we have on the video side over here on Rumble is because Rumble did an alternative uh, alternate economy, or a parallel economy is what they called it. Yeah. And then Elon got on board, bought Twitter, and basically kind of made it more of a free speech platform again. And they're scared to death of that. But this is how we're kind of taking back the airwaves, or at least we're able to do that. But I see the day, and it won't come too far off where that's going to change again, and we're going to get driven way underground. But we already now know how to go underground, and we know how to form up in those small the Underground Railroad groups, where I don't think the left knows how to do that. All they know is, Antifa is, they would like you to believe that they are this grassroots, you know, we know how to be underground, but they really don't. They rely on the fact that where they are operating, they have immunity from with local governments. And they know that very few of them are being arrested. Very few of them are paying any consequences, where that wasn't the case. Miko Wolf, you can't turn me off. I paid to play. It's my constitutional rights. Well, yeah, it is. It is your constitutional rights. But if nobody is willing to stand up next to you and help you, your constitutional rights mean nothing when they decide they're just going to violate them.
Right.
So, better that we can, I think, better that we can get all our ducks in a row right now. So when it does happen again, we just flip the switch, and we turn on our own parallel economies, our own our groups, just kind of go into, okay, now we're in real mode. That's what the radio portion of this net is meant to do. Right now, we're not talking about anything that's worthwhile. We're giving, we're doing a check-in net, and we're doing, we read a couple of top news stories that anybody can, and anybody. I invite anybody, and I would love for more people to do sit reps, because it gives them the practice of, hey, this is happening in my community, and I want everybody to be aware of what's happening, in this town, in this little area, because it'll spread. If nobody knows about it, it didn't happen. Take the money away, they will disappear. Yeah, I mean, that is true. Right now, if you take the money away, they disappear. And it's all big, big money. Let's see. What do we have here? How many people? Well, we don't have money. We don't have many on here today. Probably lost them when everything went to crap. Especially on Rumble, when I had to reboot everything at the beginning of this. Gee. Parlor. That's it. It was Parlor. Thank you, Shadow Bear. Parlor was becoming it was becoming the new Twitter, and conservatives were jumping they were jumping ship from Twitter because everything you said, if you just disagreed with anything, you were banned or you were shadow banned. Um, and Parler sprung up, and it became bigger and bigger and bigger, and before long, it became a force to be reckoned with. And that was one of the first forces to be reckoned with that the left had to deal with. And unfortunately, Parler was not in a position when they first started or when they were building to, they didn't think about the possibility that the left would get to their server farms or their server owners and get them shut down that way. And it never recovered. Rumble, on the other hand, learned from that. They saw what happened, the owners of Rumble, and they saw what happened. And they said, well, you know what? We won't be able to grow that big that quickly, but we're going to own everything that we have. And nobody is going to be able to turn us off because they actually own their own backbone. Man, we've been now again, we start turning on the conversation, and I love it.
We get to going, don't we?
We do. But it's 11:15. And man, where you are, it's what, 11, 12? It's 1 o'clock.
1:15.
1:15 out there.
Way
Yeah.
past lunchtime.
Yeah. Does anybody have anything else for the good of the order? You got anything? Any parting words?
No. Has anybody got any ideas for future shows, future episodes?
Yeah, Pamela, you're in here watching. You always have some great ideas. Is not affected with all the craziness. Yeah, well, Mako, yeah, it's not yet infected. Here's the problem you're going to run into. You've got a lot of people that are in New York City right now. They're going to be looking for a way out. And it's much easier
They're
to
gonna
move.
migrate to where you are.
They will migrate to where you are, and they will bring their New York City ways with them. And they'll vote.
Yep.
They'll vote just like they did in New York City. And that's how it spreads. Yep. All right, guys. I want to thank everybody for sticking in here with us. This was good. Good conversation today. We are looking for. I still want Jeff to do his Timu medical kit. You gonna be around next week?
Yeah, Jeff's gonna. Well, it won't be next week. It won't be next week. Jeff's got a lot of stuff he's still got to do to get ready for that, and there's a lot of stuff we still don't have unpacked yet. But it's on my list. It's on my list, and you know, I don't. I'm still looking at getting my channel up, and I'm deciding on how I got to do it simultaneously because it's going to be one of the big topics on my channel too. So I got to figure out how to do it to where we can have it hit at the same time.
Oh yeah, that would be kind of cool.
But yeah, we'll do that. I would say, let's see. Let me look at the calendar real quick. Next weekend, actually, I may not even be here because Friday's the wife's birthday, Monday's my birthday, and we've got family coming into town.
Oh, look at you!
Want to visit?
Well,
we live where people want to visit now because it's warm here.
Yeah.
And
well, then we won't.
I may not be here next weekend.
We won't.
Are you planning on doing a show the weekend after Thanksgiving?
Good question. Let me pull up my calendar and let's just see.
29th.
Yeah, that's 2 days after. Yeah, why not?
I might be able to have stuff ready for that weekend.
Okay. I mean, I want to do more on standard prepping stuff, but I think most of the people here are pretty well tuned in. We just need to, I don't know. That's why I need you guys to tell me what you want to see. If you guys have something that you know about, you got to feed it to us so we know what to talk about. We've been doing this for a year.
We're doing this for 2 years, bro.
2 years. 2 years.
2
Holy
years. We did
crap.
this when I was in Arizona, and last year I stayed in Michigan. So it's been 2 years.
Holy shit.
2 years.
Wow.
2 years around Thanksgiving. It's right around now is the 2-year anniversary.
Yeah. Kind of crazy. Kind of crazy.
Yep.
Wow.
I look at, I'd like to get some ideas from people out there watching, and what do you want to see? And I'm gonna start up my own channel and kind of do like prepping on a budget, doing like the Temu hauls and things like that, and stuff like that. And that's kind of what I think my niche is gonna be, maybe. And play them both together and see what happens.
Oh no, that's so cool. Yeah.
Don't want to be a competitor of Bob's. I want to be in conjunction with Bob.
Now, you know what?
Don't want to be here.
Does Bob things. Jeff does Jeff things. I hope I can contribute to your stuff.
That's right.
To your content.
That's right.
Because that's how we're all gonna make it, guys. Is we're gonna make it together, or we fall apart.
My group's planning a big thing next year for field day. We're gonna try to do the turn off everything like you talked about. We want to live field day weekend with nothing but whatever we have in our yards, whether it be solar on top of the RV or the small little Blue Eddy or EcoFlow, and how we can keep them charged. And we want to, cook over the fire and try to live without any amenities whatsoever. And we're going to do that for field day weekend.
Oh, beautiful.
We're all excited about it.
That's what maybe for field day or whatever, we come up with a couple of things. You know how all the ham radio guys, they do field day stuff. But if we did field day and we brought prepping into field day, and we did some content based on that.
You did the MRE stuff too, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I did the MRE and prepper food a little bit in there. It's kind of like, wow, what else can we do? I don't know.
Yeah, Florida. It's just good practice. Make it a fun weekend, and like I said, it's not really fair because we're planning it, and here we are, more than 6 months away from it. They did offer to have me come back up there for winter field day, and I did tell them to pound sand. Not doing that. my goal is to stay away from that white stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's not really the same when you're planning for it, but it's still seeing if you can live off the, without the amenities. And I think
off
that's
the grid
important.
For a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like what RDO said earlier, while you're on the grid, you're prepping to live off the grid. And that's kind of what we're trying to do.
Yep. Spell check on Firefox. Just looking back through some of the comments from today. And yeah, okay, I've got nothing else. It is 11:30, man. We've been going for
2
how
hours and
long here?
32 minutes.
2 hours 32 minutes. That's crazy. All
Not
right,
counting the
guys.
half hour or 15 minutes ahead of time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's 15 minutes ahead of time.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Jeff, thank you.
Good to be
And
back.
let's see. You got to hit up the Amish. They got food and real good prices, real good if you help, real cheaper. Huh. Okay. Something to think about. All right. And I see no last minute stuff coming through. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. And I will see you next week. I guess Jeff won't. I have
I
no
might.
idea what we're going to talk about. No idea. So it might just be a short radio net. Who knows? I'll think of something. It won't be 2.5 hours, though. I can tell you that.
We'll save that for after Thanksgiving.
Yes. Yes. All right, guys.
I want to get back into Discord too. I want to get back into those
Yeah.
live chats after show.
Well, you know what? If we keep this show down and move it to
Move
Discord,
there.
move there, I like
Yep.
that idea. Yep.
Yep. Look at that. We're picking up viewers. We're getting ready to sign off and we're picking up viewers. We're up 3.
Oh, look at that.
Miko Wolf, I do grow vegetables in my home. I do a hydroponic system and do a lot of lettuce and things like that. We're really big into salads. Grow those in the house. Good idea.
Yep. And X.
All right, guys.
All right.
I need to go.
Yep. Me too. I'm out. 7-3, guys. We'll see you then.
Take care.